we're going to be talking about the site setup down here in your homework. So these are the files that we're going to need. Again, we're not completing these files, but we just want to use these files and we'll have them ready for next week. So these are a zip folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click and say save link as. And you can see that it's a zip folder. I'm going to just throw this on my desktop for the time being. And then we actually have to open up these zip files. So I'm going to show in a folder here. There is my files. I want to go ahead and extract those. And I am going to call it just Kinetic Bistro. And extract. So again, we're in web design, so everything has to stay in the same folder. So let's just look at it really quick. And you can see that actually the extract actually gave me 2 files, right? I don't really like that. I want all my files just in one folder. So I'm going to just take these and cut them and place them into this folder just so that I don't have 2 folders, because when we get into site preview, what we really want is this. We're wanting one folder with all of our stuff, or at the minimum 1 folder and then like an assets folder where we put all our images, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So now I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I'm going to open up Dreamweaver. And on our welcome screen, we can do this in 2 ways, where it has Dreamweaver sites, or we can come up here and say site, new site, whichever you prefer. I'm going to say Dreamweaver site, and the site name does not matter actually. This is just a name that goes into your computer. It doesn't show up anywhere else, but it's nice to actually name it something that you're going to remember what it is. So I'm going to call it Bistro Site. And this is where we're at. So local site folder. We have to actually go back and find where that folder is so that Dreamweaver can know. So I'm going to click on here. And I'm going to go back to my folder to find it. Now, here's one crucial thing. Do not double click on this folder. This does not get us to where we want to go. We just want to click once and where it says folder Connect Bistro, and we want to get that whole folder. Okay, we don't want just parts of the folder, or if there was other folders in there, we don't want that. We want everything entitled. So the biggest mistake I see is people go like this and they say select folder. We don't want that. We just want this. Once the one click, we don't need double clicks. So there, select the folder, say save. And there you go. Now, what this does is that it controls everything in here. So I can make changes right in here, and it's actually going to make changes over there. So I'm going to click on the index file to get started, because that will be what we start with before in the next assignment. So if I change something here, if I say edit, rename, if I rename it, it's actually going to rename everything in the folder. If I add something to the folder over here, right? If I change something to the folder in the Connect Bistro folder, let's say I want to rename, do not do this, by the way, because this will mess up for next week. But let's say I want to rename this. I'm just going to say rename. So remember it said menu 1, right? So now as I go back over to my site, because everything is connected, it's open over here, sorry. Because everything is connected, then it's actually going to rename it all. Okay, so then I'm going to open back up my Dreamweaver. Over here, I'm going to click refresh, and we can actually see right here that it's a rename. So once these files are together, that's what it's the benefit. So here, if I drop down, it's always going to save this Bistro site. So here's the deal. If you're at home, perfect. You know, you don't have to do this every single time. You can actually just come up here on your drop down and find whatever folder that you're working on. So I would suggest making one for your project 1 and your project 2 and all your assignments from here on out. You could actually just go ahead and make folders for and then find them very easily. Anytime you want to do something to it, come back, click on Bistro Site, you're there. If you're in class, that's a little bit different, or if you're moving files from home to school, every single time that you're at school, you're going to have to do this. So if you're working on Bistro Site on Tuesday and then you come in on Thursday and you need to do this, you're going to have to go through the site setup again. So you might want to review this one more time just to make sure that you understand how to do a site setup.